So we are looking right now at this graph. And we have to choose if it is y equals cosine 2x, y equals 2 cosine x, y equals 1/2 cosine x, or y equals cosine 1/2 x. Now remember, we're always looking at y equals a cosine bx plus c. What does a stand for again? The what? A stands for what? The word starts with an A. Amplitude. Amplitude is how high it goes. What's the amplitude for this? How high does it go? It goes to 1. Okay? It goes to 1. So we shouldn't have anything in front of there. So I can cancel out anything that has a number in front of cosine. All right. Now, what does B stand for? B is 2 pi divided by whatever the period is when it starts repeating itself. When is this going to start repeating itself? It didn't start at 2 pi. It's going to be 4 pi, right? So we get 2 pi divided by 4 pi gives me 1/2. So which one? Yeah. Okay. So we know that B is going to be the 1/2. So we're going to have to do this one right here. That's our answer. Okay, why don't you guys try the same thing for number 2 on your own? Remember, you're looking at y equals a sine bx plus c. You should try this.
I've never seen one like that.
We have. All right, so for number 2, we know that the amplitude is 2, so I know I've got y equals 2 sine. And I know it's sine because it goes through 0, so that means I can cancel out these cosine ones. Okay, if it starts right here at 0, we're probably a pretty good indicator that it's sine. Okay, so now we need to figure out what the period is. When does it start repeating itself? It looks like it starts right at pi. So we're going to go 2 pi divided by pi, and we get 2x, which means we get this one right here. Okay, let's look at 3 together. So it starts right here at 0, so my first thought is it's probably sine. So I have y equals a sine bx plus c. I know my amplitude only goes up to 1, so that gives me y equals sine bx plus c. Okay. Now, let's see if we can figure out, it didn't look like it shifted at all. So I think the only thing I need to figure out now is the period. Now, since this amplitude is only 1, anything that's not 1 I can cancel out. So I'm deciding between these 2. Now, let's see where it repeats. It goes here, here, and we go up, down, right here. So that looks like it's between pi over 2 and pi. Okay, so I think it's 3. Because remember, it's going to be whatever it is divided by 2 pi. I think in this case, we're going to end up with it being 3. Because 1/3 is more spread out, and 3 is closer together. You can think of it that way too, if you're unsure what that number is. All right, let's go ahead and turn it over. Why don't you guys try number 4 on your own? Try number 4, and then we'll do some together.
Wait, so if it doesn't start at 0, does that mean it's
Cosine.
that means cosine?
Thank you. I will try and put that in for you, but my internet's down, so I'm doing it all on my phone. Okay, so what did we decide it is? Is it sine or cosine? Cosine, so we know these two can't be it. So then we have y equals a cosine bx plus c. Well, I know my a starts off negative. So I have negative cosine. Now I've got to decide what b is. So it's when it starts repeating. So we start here, down, up, back here at the same spot. So it's pi. So then we go 2 pi divided by pi. That gives me 2. So it's negative cosine 2x. So that's how we got the top one right there. Okay. The next one, on an axis from 0 to 2 pi, we're going to graph this. So if we start right here, we know along our x-axis we're going to have pi, 2 pi. This is pi over 2 right here. And we're starting at 0. Now my period, my amplitude is 2. So I need to go 1, 2 above, and 1, 2 below. Okay? It gives me 3x as my b. So I know that's 2 pi divided by 3. So that's 2/3 pi. So that means in between these is where I'm going. So I'm going to go 0 to 2. I go back down. I hit 2. I'm going to go back up, down through pi. And then we got that 2 pi. Okay? So that's how you graph it. You're just looking at those. You can also stick it in your calculator and kind of gives you a better idea. We're going to skip 6 and 7 for now because I want you guys to look at your review that you're going to work on, and I want to give you lots of class time to work on this. So if I were you in class, we've done sine, cosine, tangent, you know, the SOHCAHTOA stuff. That's these first 4. And it's written right here, SOHCAHTOA, so you've got it. 5, 6, 7, and 8, you're either going to have to use law of sines or law of cosines. They're still on the board behind Jalen and Emily. It's this that I would work in class today. I would make a goal, guys, for you to try to get 10 through 12 done in class today because it's the new stuff. So number 9, this graph shows the graph of a temperature versus time for a certain model. Write an equation for this. You're going to decide if it's sine, cosine, or tangent to do. Same down here. What's the maximum it can be? What's the minimum it can be? What's the amplitude period? Vertical shift. Domain and range. I think we should probably do this one. Let's look at number 10, and we'll do 10 together. And then you'll got one left to do. Okay, 10. It looks like the max here is 3,500, right between 3,000 and 4,000. The minimum looks like it's right here. That would be 1,500. Okay? Now, when you look at the min and max, if you subtract, it should be right in the middle. So if we go 3,500 minus 1,500, we should get the middle. Okay, if we're going to go up to 3,500, we're going to go down to 1,500. So we've got here. What's in between those? Okay, we can go up 500, down 500, up 500 more, down 500. So it looks like our middle is right here. Okay, so from here to here, our amplitude, okay, or down to here or up to here, our amplitude is 1,000. Our period, when it starts repeating itself, so from here to here, oh, sorry, it should be 1,000. Thank you. It starts repeating itself right here at 12, so we know we're going to go 2 pi divided by 12. That gives me pi over 6. My vertical shift, remember I want to start this at 1. So if we went from 1 to 3,500, okay, it went up 3,500. That's my vertical shift. My domain, it can be x is greater than 0, okay? But x is less than or equal to 27. That's where it stops on this graph. My range, y is greater than or equal to 1,500, and y is less than or equal to 3,500. Okay? So we're going to write this as a function. Is this a sine or cosine graph? Cosine, good. So remember, we're going to use that y equals a cosine bx plus c, and we should be able to put all this in there. Okay? So that's y equals a is my amplitude, so that's 1,000. Cosine, we found my b right here, pi over 6x. And my c is 3,500. Okay, so we've done all of 10 together. Okay.
What's the thing, right? What's like right after the cosine you said? That's
Pi over 6.
Oh, it's pi over pi?
Mm-hmm. Okay, if you have any questions, ask. But again, I do 9, 11, and 12 before you leave today, so you can ask questions right away. Okay, I'm going to stop this and put this up so you guys can see it.